Okie dokie. Just wait for a few people to pop in and say hello. Oh, it's been a long day. I seem to have been flat earthing all day. Really. Hippie Lockspot. Hello. Good evening, you. Good evening, Shane. How are you guys? God, what a day. What a day. I feel like I have been literally doing flat earth all day. That was a marathon over at Nathan's. I thought he was never going to end the stream. Wow. So who else have we got in? Shane the Brain, apparently. You think so? Perhaps. I'm more into the experiment side of things and the doing the tests and getting the out there and doing these kind of stuff. Anthony's better for debating and stuff like that. Also, I feel. I think Jaren struggles with debates too. I think he's not, you know, he knows his stuff, but it's not as sharp as like Anthony. Anthony can just get it and be off. You missed Nathan's last stream. Was it any good? Well, yeah, we got George to come in, George Netanyahu, and he made a complete ass of himself. But besides that, same old, same old. I think the snipers were back in the droves today. I got sniped, even though I had the back door open and I was ready to, take out the trolls and the snipers. I was literally facing 4 joining at once. And if it's fastest finger first 4 versus 1, I can't get them all every time. Hi Sandy, nice to see you in. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was just we were all getting tired, I think, because I mean we'd been going for 3 hours. We'd literally been going for 3 hours. I woke up this morning. I woke up at 2 a.m. this morning. I had in the background about 5 o'clock. I noticed Sly Sparkane had gone live, so I listened in on that, and I had it plugged in for about an hour and a half. Listened to his live stream. Heard that he had no idea who Simon Dan was, which was quite interesting, quite funny. I did a video about that this morning. So yeah, like I say, I've been absolutely on flat earth all day really, and I just wanted to basically run past some things for you guys and show you some of the things that I'm going to be doing going forward. So we got a few in. 1.5 million views. Can't be real views, surely. Well, the thing is, right, I've heard that YouTube are promoting him, and they're promoting him like as in people's feeds. So it's not just in flat earth circles too. A lot of it's on the gaming side. So if you're a gamer and stuff like that, the algorithms are saying that the gamers are more likely, I would assume, to be, passionate about the ball earth, which makes sense because if you look at all the ball earthers, they all seem to have come from the gaming side of things. So it makes sense that they're actually appealing to that market. And of course, he's getting subscribers through that, or so it seems. This is what I've heard down the grapevine, so we'll see. Yep. See you later, hippie. Yeah. Oh, right. Well, yeah. I'm gonna open up this here. This little thing called experiments, and I have been thinking about something. Now, this all stems from Greater Sapien. Now, Greater Sapien, if you remember, he put a laser beam across a small portion of ice, and then was able to, the beam was able to be, to change direction. It didn't show it curving, which is ridiculous. I've never ever seen a laser beam curving, following the contours of this proposed spherical Earth, which is nonsense. It literally was in like a prism. You know, you can make the beam bend, you know, one time, not multiple times. Anyway, but it gave me something to think on, and this is what I've come up with. So I've come up with this idea of this will be a wooden frame, and essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some plastic inside. I have some plastic sheeting go inside of it, nail it around the frame, and fill it with water. Right now, I'm thinking of filling it with iced water to start with because it will heat up, and obviously it will reach temperature, etc., and be able to do experiments with. Now, this will be the setup. In the next image, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do the thermometers. I'm going to get 3 thermometers. So I'm going to place one of the thermometers inside the water. So I've actually got the temperature of the water measured. I'm going to have a second thermometer, which will be placed perhaps half a centimeter above the water. So I'll get the temperature for the air just above the water. And then I'll have a third thermometer, which will be placed around about 3 centimeters above the water, just to get more of an air temperature in that area. So I'll have 3 separate grades of temperature. But if I'm thinking, if I start off with iced water to start with, you know, the temperature should, you know, essentially be pretty cold. I mean, I don't think I'll be able to get it exactly to 0, but I would assume maybe a couple of degrees above 0, which will be good enough to do this test with. I'm going to try and do it on a day when the temperature will be at least 20 degrees or so. So there's plenty of room for the supposed curvature to take place. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to get some, I haven't decided how I'm going to get it yet. I might get some like plastic, some very thin plastic, and there's going to be an ever so slight curve on it. So it's going to be a length, very thin length of about probably, well, width of about 1 inch. And the length of it's going to run the entire length of the table. So let's say 12 feet, for instance. And it's going to be curved ever so slightly. I'm going to arch it only a couple of millimeters, maybe 2 or 3 millimeters, something like that. So there will be an ever so slight curve across here. I'll show you how that's going to look in a minute. The camera will be at this end, so I'll be looking down, and I'll be able to make readings of the temperature as well as keep an eye on this actual curvature of this plastic. Looking down from the top, this is what you'll see. You'll be looking down. This will be this yellow beam. This yellow thing here will be the plastic. You'll have the 3 thermometers on the right. And what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and get this piece of red tape here. So now we're looking down at the target. So we're looking now at the 3 thermometers. One's in the water, one's just above it, and one's just above that. We are going to have a ruler at the back set to maybe, you know, we'll only see a couple of centimeters of it because that's all we really need to concentrate on, right? This green part here is the curved surface, the curved plastic. And we're going to have a red piece of tape that runs across from the ruler here and behind, going around the back. So it'll literally go across the full length of the ruler, but we won't see it. We won't be able to see it because we'll have this arch in the way, this 2 millimeter or 3 millimeter arch, which will be on this plastic. Now then, if curvature is to happen and we are able to see that, and we've already got the water temperature to near enough 0, and we've got a temperature in the air of at least 20 degrees, then what we should start to see is we should start to see this red tape, if we can manage it, as we're looking down towards the ruler. This is if it's going to curve over a curvature of the Earth. So this is a proof of concept, right? Does it happen? Does it work? I know for a fact it's going to fail. Because we've never seen light being able to be bent around a curved surface. So this will be the experiment. This is what we'll be looking at. as the temperature of the water obviously gets slightly warmer, you know, due to it not being quite as iced, I can literally film it for, let's say, an hour and a half. The water will eventually get to room temperature or outdoor air temperature, whatever. And we will have a baseline then. So we'll be able to say that we was looking at the water from 2 degrees with the temperature of the air being 20. And by the time an hour and a half had gone by, the water rose to 14 degrees and the air stayed at 20. And yet all this time that I was filming, we never saw that red tape get loomed up above here and wrapped around this this plastic and into my eye or into the camera, right? So we'll have all the data that we need to see whether this experiment can actually work. And I hope I've explained it all right, and I want to know how you guys feel about me doing this. Do you think it'll work? Do you think this is going to work? I think it will be a good proof of concept test. Surely, if we've got the temperature gradients right and we can get some curvature, we're only talking a couple of millimeters here, literally just a couple of millimeters. So if we can get it to move up and around and over and into the lens of the camera, we've proved proof of concept. If not, it's another nail in the coffin for the ball. Yeah, Dwayne Levy Howard, he likes it. Yeah, I think so too. I'll just run through it again. Maybe 12 feet, I would think. What we did notice was that Greater Sapien was able to get a 2 millimeter drop when he used iced water. So he used iced water. He got over a very short distance. He got a 2 millimeter drop, which was basically the light bent probably one time, like if you aimed the light into a prism. So if we did a 12 foot length here, this is my table, wooden table, fill it with plastic so it's all waterproof, fill it with iced water, and then we put the 3 thermometers in, one just in the water, so we've got the water temperature, one just above it, so we've got the air temperature a couple of mils above the actual water, and one at about 3 centimeters above the water, so we've got more of an air temperature. This will be the plastic that will be raised only ever so slightly, like a bridge. So it'll just be like an arched bridge, just a couple of mils, maybe 3 mils or so. Next, we'll have the camera looking down. Next, we'll be looking down this way along the length of it. And lastly, as we look head on, this is our angle. This is what we'll see. We'll see the blockage that's in the way here, which is the plastic, the arch, the 2 or 3 millimeter arch that's here. We'll have this red piece of tape at the back, which will only be maybe 1.5 mils or 2 mils in height. And if we've got iced water in the actual basin and a warm day up top, we should have ideal conditions to see some looming effects according to them. And if that's the case, then we should be able to move this tape up, and it should go over the curve and into the lens of the camera, right? That would be proof of concept. I can't see an error with the way I've done it. Who else have we got in? Hey, Chucky, nice to see you in. Jamie Brown, how do? Nice to see you. Sandra, nice to see you in. Rune, bloody thicker than water. Who else have we got in? Sandy, already said hello. Shane Walter, Rune. Maybe by the time this is good at Minecraft or something. Can you do it without autofocus on and the camera around? I think it would be, could demonstrate something. Oh, right. Can I do it without autofocus on and move the camera around? Right. Yeah, I could do. Hi, Ali B. Also, I've got another test that I want to do. Might as well not show you that. I'll show you this first. This is where I'm going to do it. Now, I had thought originally to do this test where I was going to get Nathan and put him in the middle, Anthony at the far back here, and me down at the bottom here. And I was going to look through the P900, and we were going to see if we can see through the lights. But I've changed my mind. I actually feel that there's something else that we can do. And again, that's come out with D Marble and his laser test. I got in touch with a company that supplied the laser that he used for the test. And I noticed it had a beam divergence of 2.5 mrad. I've been in touch with the company, and they do a laser that is actually, it doesn't have as much divergence as that. So essentially, over just a 3-mile test, it should be almost, it should hold the majority of its integrity of the entire length. So you shouldn't get a lot of beam divergence with it. And so what I've been thinking is, I thought, well, if I'm here and we have someone at the other end 3 miles away, and we are just looking across essentially just a lake here, and we had, let's say, Anthony on this side here, so he's looking, you know, basically along the line, you know, as opposed to, because I was going to say put him across the other side here, but he wouldn't see the full span of this. So if he was to go onto this ledge here, he could literally get the entire beam in his camera, in his P900. Now, this is what I was thinking. I was thinking, get a hold of 3 of those laser beams, right? So if we get a hold of 3 of the laser beams and we set them up on some kind of staggered step system. So we've got a 3-foot height, a 3-foot height, a 2-foot height, and a 1-foot height. And we're aiming it over 3 miles. And on the far side, at the other side, we'll have Nathan. Bearing in mind, if we all live stream on our channels at the same time, we can correlate this at the same time, do a live stream. And he can obviously direct where the beam hits this large partition over here. And obviously when it gets to 3 feet, he will tell me to stop. The same with the 2-foot one, and the same with the 1-foot one. So we'll have 3 beams, 3 laser beams, just over a 3-mile distance. Now, bearing in mind that none of them should hit the 3-foot target. None of them should, because there should be a 6-foot curvature of the Earth in the way. So we shouldn't even be able to get it down to the 3-foot mark. But if I was able to get this rigged up correctly and aim all 3 in their respective places across 3 miles of water to hit 3-foot, 2-foot, and 1-foot, what we would get is, with Anthony filming from the side, and this is where there can be no question as to what we're actually seeing, what he would essentially see is something similar to this. So he would be looking down the beams, and he would see 3 parallel beams in relation to each other, 1, 2, and 3. And you would be able to get a measurement from them, because well, what I'm trying to say is that if there was a curve of 6 feet over that distance, over 3 miles, and he was looking from the side, you would actually see a curve on the laser. So you would have like a rainbow effect. So you'd have 3 lasers with 3 pronounced curves. However, if we see 3 straight lines, all parallel to each other, we have Nathan on this side, who is making sure that the beams are actually hitting the target, 3-foot, 2-foot, and 1-foot. Me aiming and Anthony filming. Then we've triangulated it. We've essentially triangulated that. Then this test that can be done on Coniston water here, with the 3 lasers shooting down this way, right? And Anthony here, where this place mark is, he can track the beams the full length of the way, because he'd be at the side. He won't be looking down it. See, if you're looking down it, you can never really tell, because as I've seen with the D Marble test, you can never be sure. It's hitting the camera, obviously, but you can't see it hitting the camera because you can't see the length of it. But Anthony being to the side, I think let's measure the distance that he will be to the side of that. So he would be essentially about 700 meters across the way. So he'd be 700 meters across. So he would be able to get the full span of this, right? And see them lines all parallel. That's the theory. That is the test. See whether it would happen. If you did it at dusk, I reckon that would be the best time to do it. It seems quite a nice location. It does seem to be surrounded by plenty of mountains, so they should be keeping the wind away as well. So it seems like a pretty nice location for still pretty still water, and good conditions to do this kind of test. So what do you guys think of that? 1 for yes, go ahead and do it. 2 for no, there's flaws in it, and then I want you to explain why. Or if you've got any questions about either of the tests, what would you think? Is there anything that I could do better? Or is there anything that could be flawed in it at all? There's plenty of ones at the minute. I think they're liking these two tests. See, test 1 can be accomplished fairly easy. I'll be honest. Test 1, you know, it just costs the materials to build it. But the good thing is, once it's been built, this test can be repeated. So it's not like it's going to be going to waste. I could literally repeat this test over a series of days, in fact, not just a one-off. And because it could be local to my backyard, I could do it without the worry that I need to go to location and hope that the weather's correct. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Gav. Hello, FE Viking. Glad to see you in. Thanks for the patronage. I do appreciate it. I think FE Viking was the second, I believe, to see the Patreon advert and go across, and he is actually donating $15 a month, which I really do appreciate, because this will help pay for stuff like this, to pay for the materials to buy this kind of stuff. I wonder if I can get my Outlook up. Look, because here we go. So there's this guy that was messaging me, C4 customer support. Right, okay, so basically I was asking about, this is the email that I sent. I was looking to conduct some experiments over large expanses of water, 10 mile plus. I was looking to buy a laser that has a tiny beam divergence, so less than 2.5 mrad. Do you sell anything that fits the bill? And he gave me some indication of some of the lasers that would do that. So I've got a few in mind that I wouldn't mind actually getting. So, you know, these Patreon donations will actually go towards stuff like this, stuff that can be reused. You know, if I bought 3 of these lasers and was able to reuse them and take them to different places, including places like Loch Ness, you know, these experiments could be repeated over and over. So yeah, big thumbs up, do appreciate it. So this will definitely help towards getting some of the materials for these kind of things to be done in the future. Dangerman 5, how will you guard against claims of refraction? Well, Dangerman, you see, the thing is, how often are we going to keep responding to stuff about refraction? Because if you see a laser beam and it is straight as fuck, let's be honest, straight as fuck, right? And Anthony's filming it and it is straight, and there's 3 of these beams, not just one, there's 3. And also because they'll be at different heights, they'll be at 1 foot, 2 foot and 3 feet. Now they always say that there's temperature gradients, which is true, there is temperature gradients. Right next to the water is going to be the air is going to be slightly cooler than just a foot above that. So if we have 3 laser beams at 3 different heights, all that should be hidden behind the curvature of the Earth, and they are all perfectly straight, right? That kind of negates the argument for refraction, because they'll be going through 3 different mediums, right? The medium of the lowest one will be in a greater medium, so the refraction index for that should be more severe. So they shouldn't be parallel. The lines should not be parallel. Here's my Patreon. I'm just going to copy that and I'm going to put it into, oh yeah, here we go. So I only did it less than 24 hours ago, or about 24 hours ago. I have 4 patrons already, which is astounding. I didn't expect to get that much, to be fair, who've already pledged to donate $54 per month, which is absolutely brilliant. I've got the different tiers as well of things, which was quite funny. I was able to use fish, whale, piranha, barracuda, and shark. And as you can guess, I used some of the images from the photography that I've been doing. I thought that was just kind of a nice touch to do that. So you can decide to become any of those tiers if you so wish. I'll just, should I edit that one if I can? Can I change that in there? No. Okay. Right, Limitless channel. Rancy, you should be helping other people to do the same work, not paying you to do it for them. Very sad to see, mate, I have to say. Right, so let me get this right. You should be helping other people do the same work. Okay. Limitless channel. How am I going to drive to other people to get them to do the same work? Right? I know you say it's very sad, but let's suppose I have a friend called Joe, or there's a Joe on Flat Earth, and he lives in, let's say, Newcastle, right? So I've got to travel across the country to help Joe perform these experiments. How do I get from my location to his location? What would your opinion be of how I should travel from Blackpool to Newcastle, cross country, to go and meet up with Joe, spend the day with him, drive all the way back? I'd assume I'd be driving, including obviously eating, drinking, etc., 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 carrying all my equipment, jump the train, Chris area, go on. So how would I do that? I have no problem going out and using my time up to go and do experiments and go in to help other people. Yeah. So now you want me to just teach other people and not go out and do my own stuff, right? I'm just asking you because I think you think that this work can get done and accomplished for free. Let me tell you something, the Limits channel, right? When I first started on Flat Earth, I was doing it for myself, just myself. I didn't give a flying monkeys about Flat Earth as such, of the community. I didn't even know the community existed. I literally was doing it for myself. I wasn't interested in Flat Earth per se, or getting into this debate or into this community, right? However, the more that I've done, the more people I've got to know, the more people seem to expect, and the more people would like me to go out and, do more stuff. And just recently, the past 5 or 6 months, I have been doing this every single day without fail, right? Limitless channel. Yeah. And you know something? I also heard you say that you earn, when you're working, you earn $300,000 to $500,000 per year. This is what you told me. $300,000 to $500,000 per year, right? That would take me about 15 years to earn, right? 15 years, right? You earn it in a year. So you can afford to go and do this kind of stuff. Yes, you did. Or Jason, the other one did, right? Now, at the end of the day, I have never taken a penny from Flat Earth, ever. I've done all my work myself. I've been to Scotland, Wales, I've been to the lakes, I've been Blackpool, pretty much every single day, right? You have to pay parking when you get to Blackpool. You're not allowed to park for free anymore, right? So every single time I go and take time out of my working day, which is normally ends up being about 2 hours, and then I go and sit on Nathan's channel for 2 hours, right? And then I go and do the uploading of my videos. It's essentially turned into a full-time job for me doing this, right? And I like to do it. I like to do the work. I enjoy it. I enjoy putting the videos out, and I enjoy the social aspect of it. But essentially, I can't do that. I can't do it on thin air. Something has to suffer. If I scale back my work, as in Flat Earth work, then yes, I can go back and be doing more work decorating. if I keep up the rate of work that I'm doing and the expectation with the P1000 being on its way, then you know, I'm not going to be able to afford to put petrol in the car and do all this kind of stuff. It's like it's a vicious circle, right? So essentially, this is the dilemma. There came a point where I had to decide: can I financially afford to keep going down to the promenade every day, spending about £40 a week in petrol, £2 a time every time I park up? Can I afford to do that and taking time out of my workday? Can I afford to do that? And the answer is no. You know, there comes a point where, you know, I have to say, I'm prepared to do the work for you guys. I'm prepared to show you the evidence and put myself out and knock myself out to do the work, right? However, what's that? Get a job, make some money, do some tests. Taking money from people is a disgrace and creates you doing things for money, not truth. Right, let me just tell you again, the Limitless channel, I've been doing this for a year, right? And I remember listening into Slice Barkane's discussions this morning, and he was talking to Reds Rhetoric and etc. And every single one of them were asked, who do you think that they wanted to debate, right? No word of a lie, go back and listen to it. They mentioned Bob from Globebusters, they mentioned Jeranism and D Marble, and everyone they essentially wrote off because they weren't performing or doing as much work as other people in the arena. When they were asked to nominate who they would like to have a debate with, someone that does their own work and research and actually has a real passion for this, they said me, right? They said me. Forget your Jeranisms, your Bobs. That's who they said, because they've seen the work that I've been putting into it, right? Exactly what they said, right? And I haven't asked for a penny off anybody. People have asked me to set up a a Patreon, because they want to see me carrying on doing this work and they appreciate the work that I have done. And essentially, I can't keep doing this, putting petrol in the car and working like I do for nothing. I can't physically do it. You know, it's all right for you guys that say you've got money coming out of your ears. You know, it's not the same for me. Definitely not. I'm not pleading poverty, but I'm certainly saying that I can't afford to pay the bills if I do Flat Earth. As simple as that. Can't do both. Not with the level of expectation that will be expected of me with the P1000, the P900 modification, the tests that I have planned. Again, oh, someone timed him out. Nice one, Shane Walter. But yeah, so it's all right for him to preach, and I have kept my own for a year. I've literally done my work for a year, done thousands of hours on Flat Earth for a year. You know, there is no money in Flat Earth, and that's just the way it is. And it's not that I'm in for it. I've never been in it for the money anyway. It's just if people want to help out and do this, see these kind of tests done. And you know something? I actually feel they know I'll do a proper fair experiment. You know, I won't hide the results. I'm not one of these flat earthers that hides the results. That's another thing. You know, I show the good and the bad, and I try to find an explanation for it. So, you know, I'm not one of these that just goes out and shows you all the good stuff, show you good, the bad. You know, if this test worked, proofs of concept. If I was able, which I don't think I will be able to, perform this test exactly as I have planned, and be able to bend this red piece of tape, the ambient light from that around this this raised plastic bridge, so to speak, then that's proof of concept. That's proof that atmosphere can bend things around a ball. Don't think it's going to happen, but they say it will happen. I haven't seen anybody else perform this test or even think of this test. You know, this is something that I've thought about. You know, I think out of the box, guys. You know, I do try to find answers for stuff. Who else have we got? Create. How will you see the laser beams from the side? Well, great. Right. I think I explained that, didn't I? This will be the test site. So test site will be here, down near Sunny Bank. So if I'm down here with 3 foot, 2 foot, and 1 foot sort of like steps, and each of these steps has a laser on it with a very, very small beam divergence. we have, let's say, Nathan Oakley on this side with a 6 foot high wall of wood that we've erected during the day. I can then aim the 3 beams across the water in the hope that I can get them to hit the 3 foot, 2 foot, and 1 foot mark. So that will be the target. And then at the same time, we will also have, hopefully, Anthony Riley at this location across the other side of the lake. So as he's from the other side of the lake, and he will be able to look down the length from my location across the lake to Nathan's location, and he will be able to see all 3 beams and film them, right? And because he'll be at the side, he won't be in a direct line of sight of it. So he won't be able, if he was in a direct line of sight with it, it's unlikely you'd see the curve. But because he's to the side, he will be able to see and film and monitor their relative positions to each other and to see whether or not they are curving. And that's the test for the water. So this will be him looking at it from the side, essentially. 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. I am going to presume that we would be able to get 3 straight lines. If it was going over the curve of the Earth, this 6 foot curve, firstly, it would either hit the water, and I would never be able to hit these 3 markers on this side, or if it did hit the 3 feet, we would expect to see these beams curving, right? We would literally see like a rainbow effect. We would have 3 curves going across as opposed to 3 straight lines. Okay, so Limitless Channel, what have you come back to say? This is a joke. Why is it a joke? Right, the Limitless Channel, I'm not being funny, my mate. And I'm not saying my mate. That's really being kind to you. Why is it a joke? What do you mean it's a joke? The tests are a joke. I don't understand how it's a joke. I see 2 tests that in theory will either explain curvature around a ball by the frozen water test, or what's this? Is that Rivington Pike? I don't know, actually. Let's have a look. Rivington Pike. I'm not too sure, mate. I don't really know this area. I was literally just looking for a place that was surrounded by hills, so there was not much of a breeze, and that had a 3-mile straight line of sight. And this location fits the bill absolutely perfectly. It skims the side here by around about 20 feet, I think it is. Something like that. Let's just not even doing it by miles, is it? Yeah, about 20 feet or so, I would say that is. We can always move out ever so slightly anyway, so that won't be affected. There's maneuverability with this. I mean, we can get this line here, take that off. Let's get the properties on it. So if we move that to there, just ever so slightly, we have an absolute clear line of sight. Nothing will get in the way. It'll be all across water. Again, I can't see. I think for a proof of concept, it's probably pretty good. 3 people, 1 person filming from the side, and the other 2 working to collaborate to make sure that you can get the beams to hit the relative targets. Yeah, I don't see an issue, and I know that Nathan and Anthony have already said they're willing to do it. So zoom out. Let's see, how far do you want me to zoom out? Let's sort of like show you. We've got Windermere, Grasmere, Ambleside, Broughton in Furness, Kirkby in Furness, and in the centre of all that we've got Coniston Lake. Obviously, there's the Isle of Man. This is where I do all my filming from. This is Blackpool. This is the Lake District here. There's Lake Windermere. It's a really big lake. It's too busy. There's too many boats on it and stuff. This to me looks nice and settled, out of the way. You know, it should be at dusk time. It should be perfect for doing this experiment. Gav, well, I'll tell you what, Gav, if you feel like you want to come along and help out, that would be fantastic. Honestly, trust me, Gav, if you want to come down, more hands the merrier. Why do I need 3 beams? Well, because we'll be trying to take into account refraction, and that's the baller's argument for refraction, not how we see it. Now, if we have 3 beams, one at 1 foot, 2 foot, and 3 feet, so we've got 3 different mediums that it's going through. So the closest beam will be nearer to the water, so the temperature gradient should be greater for that. There should be more curvature, apparently, you know, down at the 1 foot. 2 feet, not so much. 3 feet, not so much, because you're getting out of those gradients. So if we have 3 beams and they're completely straight and they're parallel with each other, that kind of knocks their argument for temperature gradient refraction over a curved surface. It really does. That's why I want 3 different heights all at the same time, not just moving one beam to the next step to see if you see it. I think 3 separate beams all doing the same thing at the same time. Ricky, well, if you want to, you're more than welcome. I think you're on my Facebook group, aren't you? So if you want to join my, you know, if you want to message me on there or find me Ranty Flat Earth on Facebook, I think it's Shane Ranty Cook. That's how you'll find me on Facebook. Who else have we got? Well, Super Looming Perspective Enigma Hyena. Yo Sarah. So yeah, I mean, something else as well that I wanted to let you guys know about is that when I get the P1000 and I've modified the P900, I'm hoping that probably about a week after that, I'm going to be doing daily live streams, and they're going to be a 30-minute live stream every single day, 7 p.m. till 7:30. So that'll be UK time. And I'll be going live, and what I'll be doing is I'll be obviously showing the P1000 footage and the P900 modification footage as well. So that'll be in infrared. So I'll be going out every day. Obviously, if it's absolutely pissing it down, don't get me wrong, there's going to be no point in going and filming anything. And we do get quite a bit of rain here, but I'll still be going live if it's just to talk to you guys and say, do you know what? Pissed down today, guys, you know, but I was willing to go out there and do it, and well, yeah, weather let me down. Or I'll be saying, right, okay, as I explained to you earlier on, I'm going to go and drive to Barrow-in-Furness today, and I'm going to go and film wherever, and this is the results. So every single day, 30-minute live stream, and you guys can get to see the P1000 footage as it comes off the camera, so to speak. One, if you like that idea, and 2, if you don't. No, the elf monetization can go to the original channels. Simon Dan is using 70 plus seconds uninterrupted at one point. Wow. Oh, yeah, well, what was that? I might not have it up actually, or maybe I have. Let me YouTube. Creator Studio. So, community. Where's this? This Simon Dan was responding to me today, and he basically threatened me with 30,000 people. This is what he said. This is what this cretin said, right? Word for word. Ranty, this is what I've just posted on Anthony's video. So essentially, he's been going after both of us and spamming his rhetoric there. Now, bear in mind, he actually thinks he's somebody. Now, he really genuinely thinks he's somebody. He thinks he's, I don't know, I suppose he thinks he's basically the bee's knees, the best of the ballers, because he's got a load of subscribers. This is literally what he's thinking. You'll read it. As I read out this, you'll understand how he's actually believing himself. Whilst normally I wouldn't give two fucks what people say about me, this accusation is a direct attack on my character, and as such, offensive to me. Oh, diddums, is it? Is it offensive to you that we've called you out? Right. So I propose a bet. I will instruct YouTube to investigate my account fully, and I'll supply them with all my financial records for the last 3 months. If you don't believe me, I'll do it. Then you can ask YouTube. If it transpires that I've been buying subscribers and views, then I'll be in a bit of the trouble, won't I? And after any punishment from YouTube comes my way, I'll delete my channel. However, if I haven't, then I'd like a public apology from you, Anthony, and Nathan, and then 24 hours later, you all delete your channels. Well, that seems very fair, doesn't it? Anyway, if you don't want to take this bet, a full retraction of your video and full retraction of your videos and accusations needs to happen, right? This is the best bit though. If I do not get a reply from you within 24 hours, I will post a video with this bet on, and then 30,000 people will see it. If you delete this comment, then I'll post a video with this bet on, and then 30,000 people will see it. Finally, if you do anything but accept the bet or retract, I'll post a video with this bet on, and then 30,000 people will see it. Over to you, buddy. Get this guy. Get this guy. 30,000 people will see it. 30,000 people will see it. He really thinks he's someone right now. He really genuinely believes in his bullshit. Nobody gives a flying fuck. I'll tell you what, there isn't 30,000 people that really care about trolling flat earth videos. They genuinely don't. For whatever reason, you're a fad, mate. Nobody gives a shit. I'll tell you what, you could, let's say you end up with 100,000 subs. I guarantee in 2 months' time, your videos will only get 2,000 or 3,000 views. Back to normal, mate. Back to normal. Anyway, so after this threat of all these 30,000 people will see, essentially he's saying either way, it doesn't matter whichever way, he's going to do a video with a bet on it, essentially calling us out that 30,000 people will see. So this is my response to him. Lol, knock yourself out, mate. Do what you want. Are you saying that the data I supplied and the live streams it happened were wrong? Are you implying the responses in the comments appear to support an argument for unnatural growth? Especially as your work is utter shit. Your content is utter shit. You have the personality of a goat and the backdrop of some corner of a dingy flat. Well, that was quite funny, actually. Especially the personality of a goat. You can believe that your subs all give a shit about your work. But in terms of relevance, you're not even in the top 20 baller trolls. You actually think you're relevant. And that is the funny part, because you aren't, mate. You know, 2 months ago, you had 606 subscribers. You had the same as me. I don't find myself being relevant. But you know something? When Sean Hufford and Slice Barcane and Reg Rhetoric were talking about you last night, they didn't know who the fuck you were. Right? They didn't know who you were. But you know something, buddy? They know who the hell I am. And you know something else? They wanted me to be the only flat earther to come on their channel and show the work that I've been doing this past year to debate Slice Barcane, because I'm the only one that they respect enough to have on their panel as a flat earther that does real stuff, real hard work content. You're a nobody, mate. Nobody gives a shit about you. So you can take your 30,000 people and you can take your threat and you can stick it up your fucking arse. Idiot. Who else have we got in? Adam Geringer. Hello. Nice to see you in. Bilu, good to have you in. What proof do you have that Simon Dan is lying? Did I say he was lying? Shall we have a... Oh, when is the test on the lake? Well, hopefully, I would say within the next month, Gav. Definitely within the next month. I'll do a live stream. Probably, well, I will be keeping in contact with people, so it won't be something that I'll literally just spring on you. I'll say, because I need to get everybody ready to get involved to do this. So it's going to be, I'll be saying, right, in 2 weeks we're going to do it, in a week we're going to do it, and then, you know, we'll nail it down that way. But if you're definitely up for helping out, Gav, I mean, I don't mind coming and picking you up. You know, if you're on the way or you're within 15, 20 miles of it, I'll come and pick you up. Right, so, oh yeah, what did that guy say? What proof do you have that Simon Dan is lying? Well, this is the point, right? This is the point. Video manager, right? And this was the video in question. And it's called Simon Dan. Is he buying views and subscribers? You decide, right? This was the name of the video. This is the name it was called at the time that I released it. It's not changed. None of this has changed. This has all been the same, right? This was the question. It was a question. Is he buying videos and subscribers? You decide, right? So where do you see that I say, what was it? What proof do you have that he is lying? Did I say he was lying? I did a live stream and recorded the exponential growth of his channel and showed it as it was. In June, he hit 500 subs. Yeah, he did. And also, I'd been keeping an eye on him. Where are we? Simon Fake. There we go. So what had happened was, where are we? 15th of June, blah, 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 June. Where I should have 3 there. 28th, 17th, and the 15th. Right. So, yeah, so this one is what I'd seen on the 15th of June, where he had 1,240 subscribers. And I took a note of it, and I even wrote the date on it. So I was, at the time, I was suspicious of him growing then. And I'd noted the date because I wanted to keep a track of this. When I asked Nathan about it, he kind of said, you know, I wouldn't really bother too much about that. 28th of June, I'd noted he had 1,769 subscribers, right? This is long before this broke out. You know, this is on the 28th of June. This was me taking a screenshot of him on the 28th of June and writing the date on it. Where are we? This was just him going up and down. And this was on the 4th of June. Because what had triggered me to start looking into him was this Ailsa Craig stuff. So we'd essentially debunked his debunking of the Ailsa Craig. And I'd noted that he had a close subscriber count to me. So that's why I noted it, 606. So I remember having it in my head at the time. So I didn't take this on the 4th. I didn't screen cap this on the 4th. I actually went back. Oh, did I? Yeah, I know. I actually went back into when I saw that he had 1,200 and whatever subscribers. I remembered that he'd been very close to me in subscribers just a week before or so. So I went back to Nathan's stream in the hope that I would be able to see his page with his subscriber count on. So his subscriber count had 606 on the 4th of June. So I probably went back on the same day that I took that image way back here. So where are we? So on this date, the 15th of June. So this I took the 2 on the same day. Noted the 15th of June, 1240, which was double what he had way back on the 4th. So And I thought, there's no way with the shit content that he puts out that he's put on fucking 600 subscribers. There's no way. There is no way in a million years. I mean, I've been on Flat Earth for a year now, and I wouldn't say that I'm promoting myself too hard. It's only recently that I've started to promote myself, but I'm still less than 1,000 subscribers, and I've put a ton of work out there. I've put an absolute ton of work out there. And this guy sits in the corner and he talks utter shit. He doesn't have a personality. The guy's a prat. I wouldn't even recommend watching his stuff. I mean, I don't even know how would 1 million people even sit through that shit? I mean, come on. Right, who else have we got in? Gav. Okay, I'll look into getting there on the train. I can make it 100% if it's the last weekend of September. Okay, yeah, if you could do that, Gav, that'd be great. Whereabouts do you live anyway? I know you say you'd like to come on the train, but whereabouts do you actually live? And I'll see whether or not I could actually pick you up, or if there's a train station that's nearer that you could perhaps jump off at. Maybe jump off at Preston. I could put you at Preston, perhaps. That might be on the way for you. I don't know. And Sandra, you could come along too as well. You're in Southport, right? Okay, brilliant. Well, I'll tell you what then, Gav. You could actually get a train to Preston, and I could pick you up from Preston because that would be on the way. I could stop off in Preston on the way up there. Yeah, you have to change normally at Preston, so it just makes sense. You could just come out of the station, and I could pick you up from there, and we could just drive up. Yeah, P900. I'm sure she would come up to join in with it. So we could have a fair few. We could have like a meet up there essentially, and do that. That test over there. Definitely. What time is it there? I'm in Orlando, trying to figure out the time difference. You plan to go live your time, right? What time is it now? So yeah, so it's essentially the same time now. So now it's 1919, Dwayne. So it would be basically 2 p.m. Florida time to 2:30. So yeah, so that's going forward. Oh yeah, so Patreon copy. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to put it in the side anyway. Even if you don't use it right now, if you're a mod somewhere else and somebody asks, you can always say this is Ranty's Patreon account. Patreon thing. And I'll put it in the live stream after as well, actually, because things like this, I mean, doing these tests and stuff, they're not going to, this shouldn't be too expensive to put together. The most expensive stuff I would imagine would be getting the thick pieces of the wood. The perspex shouldn't be too much of a problem. The plastic depends what type of plastic I use. You might have to get a pond filler, pond liner or something. And the thermometers. So I don't know how much all that's going to cost to build, but essentially just building this rig, I still have to build it and do it. So this is what the Patreon stuff will go towards. And then, like I say, I can repeat this test over and over. It won't be a one-off either, so I can do it in different weather conditions. This will require me to get 3 lasers. So that email that I showed you before, I'm in contact with these guys. I've got my eye on three lasers that I want to get to do this test. And if we have them all at the same time shooting across, we can negate the refraction argument. And they can be reused again. It's things that we can reuse over and over. And because we all live, I suppose, in the UK in an area that's not too far away from water. There's so many places that you can go to do these tests. There's another lake over here. Look at this, right? You can push the boat out, and you can push the limit. You can be on one side here, and here you go. You're going to nearly 3.5 miles here, 3.44 miles. You could navigate a path, line of sight to that shore there, and you've got 4.22 miles. And again, it's in a rocky area. It's an area that isn't going to get a lot of wind. So there's plenty of places in the UK for that, and it's all going to be leading up to the big test, which will be the one that I want to do up at Loch Ness. Where is it? Where's Loch Ness? Where's Loch Ness? There we go. There's Loch Ness. So this is the one that I really want to do. I will need some help figuring out a test that can be done over this distance, which should be about 20 and a half miles. But it's absolutely straight. Here we go, from one end to the other. Look at this. Right? Look at this. Beautiful. 21 miles almost, right? So we've got 21 miles here up in Scotland, right? This is surrounded by mountains. You know, there's mountains all around this place. Wind shouldn't be too much of a factor. It's not very wide. You know, if I put a width in there, we're looking at 0.8 of a mile, which isn't very, you know, if you're talking something over a 20-mile distance, not very much. But this is ultimate. This is the ultimate goal for me. I think it's the longest stretch in the UK that I can do. And this would be a fantastic experiment to do if I can get something to work across here. So I'll be looking into getting a really good laser for that, or I don't know, maybe even do that balloon, fill it up, put a light inside it. Same sort of thing that they did at the Salton Sea. That might be worth having a go. But this would be a big one, definitely. And it's such a long way. It really is in the wilderness, and it's, you know, it's not the most hospitable of places, and it is a long way away from where I live. But that's the goal for the winter. That's the goal for this spring or winter time, definitely. Talk about a saturated niche. No message button on your YouTube. Can I email your number? Yeah, if you want to contact me, Gav, it's ranty@rantyflatearth.com. So, you know, you've heard of Ranty Flat Earth, just put .com on the end of it. ranty@rantyflatearth.com. Who else have we got? Dwayne, I'm listening on mobile, going out to mow the lawn, won't be in chat, 91 degrees outside, perfect time, thanks again, keep it up, excited to see the experiments. Yeah, thanks, Dwayne. Yeah, me too. I mean, this, you know, modification that I'll be doing to the P900, it really does look, it does look like it's going to pay dividends, you know, doing things in infrared from the stuff that I've seen. I mean, there is that one video that's a 440-mile one. That's just ridiculous. That's not England. It's the other side of the river. But besides that, there is real evidence of seeing really long distances with that modification. So luckily, because I'll be out all the time doing these kind of stuff, there should be plenty of times to put this to the test. And I'll tell you, a good thing to be doing would be going back to Wales, where I was on this peninsula here. Where was I? Let me just find it. Here we are. So I was on this here, right? I was level with the wind turbine hubs, right? And the wind turbine hubs were 322 feet above sea level, and they were all in a perfect straight line. So here I am down here, just on this side here, this side of this road that leads down to it's called the lighthouse. So this is where I was getting my photography for the wind turbines. And what do you know? Scroll out, come on, stop messing me around. What do you know? Isle of Man, there we go. Boom, 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 boom. Isle of Man, 322 feet up I was. And I literally saw all of this mountain range all the way across there, all the way across here, all the way across there, down, right down to the bottom, right? 69, nearly 70 miles away. I did the curve calcs, and 1,400 feet should have been missing. 1,400 feet. I was seeing mountain ranges that were less than 1,000 feet tall, right? And I was seeing, in my opinion, all of them. And when I did the calculations and I measured it out, I think I've showed you this guy before on out. It's just finding it now. I might have a quick look. Desktop, see if I can find it. Mountains of Wales. Could be that one. No, it's just the video. Where would I have put it? Mountains? No. This could get tricky. Anyway, I've showed it you guys before, so you already know the one I'm talking about. But we see all of the Isle of Man down to about 200 feet. 1,400 feet should have been missing. Imagine what I'd have seen with the P900 modification. I can't think where I've put it. I also can't think where I've put it. Unless it's in footage. Wind farms new. No. Nah. I really need to get my computer in pristine condition for doing these things. But anyway, I got so much junk in here. It's honestly, it's unbelievable. Acceleration in there. No. No, can't find it right now off the top of my head. In any event, I've already showed it you guys before. I think, what's that? No. P900. Maybe it's in here. Welsh Mountains compared. That seems interesting. No. Oh, but here's one for you. This is from Blackpool, yeah? This is the Welsh Mountains compared. This is just another one out of the blue. But look at this, yeah? Right? This is what Peak Finder says that you should have seen from my location, right? And yeah, you do. You see the top of this mountain here. It's only when you start looking a little bit closer and you see the massive disparity. I mean, it's not even, I mean, look at this little part here that you're supposed to see, which would be this point here. Look, we're seeing all the way down this side of it, this mountain range, all the way down. We're talking 500, 600, 700 feet here. 500, 600, 700 feet. We go across here. Look at this, right? It doesn't even show that it's on the radar here. And we're seeing all of this. We should have only seen the top of this. Essentially, we're seeing hundreds and hundreds of feet more than we should, right? Hundreds of feet. Look at this. Look at, does that even look comparable? Hundreds of feet. Imagine with the modification on the P900 what we're going to see. It's just going to be sensational. Infrared film, but that's pointing a camera at something. Why can it bypass the stuff in the air? If it was thermal, it might make. Oh, did somebody say something about radar? Who said that about? Was it Ian Matheson? Loch Ness sounds perfect for the Wi-Fi tests. Yeah, well, the thing is, Bob asked me, Bob from Globebusters, asked me if I wanted to be a part of Flat Earth Core, or no, Field Engineer Core, FE Core. And to be honest, I am actually up for that. I am actually up for it. Simply because I feel that the results that I can get and the effort that I could put in could be a great value, showing it to people that do want to actually take that and use the information that I can provide and formulate some kind of results out of it. I try to do it, you know, Nathan, myself, Anthony, we try to figure out what's going on with the results that I get. But the more exposure my results get, the better, as far as I'm concerned. And like I say, Bob wanted me to be and asked me about 3 weeks ago if I would be willing to join FE Core. So that could be on the horizon too. Just don't be compromised. No. At the end of the day, you know, I am my own person, and I always show the good, the bad, and the ugly. I am completely flat Earth. You know, that is my opinion. So prove me wrong. That's what I'm saying. Prove me wrong. I haven't found curvature yet. I've looked for it. can't find it. I have been doing this for over a year now, and I still haven't found it. Even then, I can't really grasp it. Blocking light is blocking light. Yeah, I think there's obviously an area above the water that it can see through, right? That normal cameras can't, and our eyes can't peer through it. That's what I think. We're talking about, like you say, a different spectrum that we can actually be able to use by modifying the P900 and having it look in infrared. It's a possibility that maybe it won't be very good for the very low down imageries. So getting down to 1 inch, it might be crap at looking through that, right? It might not even do a very good job. It might be that I have to get up higher to see further. Like, for instance, seeing all of the Isle of Man from 322 feet, right? For that, it might have been sensational. I might have literally been looking in people's windows for all I know, yeah? But the P900, as it was, struggled to focus in the mist. It couldn't focus through the mist, and it kept going out of focus, which is why I've only got a very small 20-second clip of it and some still images, which I had to actually aim and focus the camera at a different part, like turn myself 90 degrees, aim at a distant mountain, half press the shutter on it, and then move myself across and actually take the image of what I was looking at as the Isle of Man, because it wouldn't focus on it. It just wouldn't do it. It didn't matter what setting I put on it, it wouldn't focus. Actually, the modification blocks less wavelengths. Right, okay. Which is good, because what we are seeing is that we are seeing a completely different reality to what we see with a normal camera and what with our eyes. So perhaps getting rid of those wavelengths those wavelengths are the wavelengths that are stopping us seeing further and seeing what's there, Did you try an? Yes, I did. Tom Butters, I bought 4, and I've got 4. They're in my car. The filters, I've already got them for the P900. I put it on. I couldn't see anything out of it. Literally, it was black as it was like nighttime, And that was with I think it's a 760, and they went up to 940, I think, or 960. But anyway, I put the lowest one on, and it was really bright outside. So I thought, yeah, this is going to work. Couldn't wait to get down there. And when I put it on, it was like somebody had put the hand over the end of the camera. Couldn't see anything out of it. Horrible. It was only when I went back and then started researching that I found out that actually I should have taken the blocker out of the P900. So the camera is already blocking infrared, so it would be dark as hell. Yes, it was, Ian. Yeah, it was almost completely black. And I was really gutted, actually, because I couldn't wait to actually get my hands on these filters and go out and start filming. Didn't expect to encounter it. It really gutted me. Are you adding the clear glass mod for autofocus? I thought you said that it wouldn't really matter too much, to be fair. You did actually say that. I think you told me that it didn't. You looked into it a little bit more and you realised that actually the P900 should still be okay for using it, and it should still autofocus. I'm putting the horse before the cart. Yeah, I was. I didn't know I had to take the filter out, but there you go. What made it black? Well, maybe Ian can tell you. Are they pulling the filter from the P900 when the P1000? Tom, are you actually doing that too? Really? Okay, let me have a look at your channel, because that really interests me. If you've already got a P900 videos, okay, so interesting. So you have been out doing stuff over the with the old P900. See, this is another thing, you see. I mean, guys like yourself that actually get out there and do this stuff, we're not connected in any way. I wouldn't know that you're doing work. You probably haven't known that I've been doing work. And because we're so divided as such, we don't have a way of communicating who's actually doing research. So I've found some really good guys recently doing the same sort of work I've been doing. And I would never, ever have come across them in a million years, except I was very lucky, really lucky in finding them. They weren't on recommendations, nothing, And these guys are doing the same sort of work as me, same amount of subscribers, but they're in a different part of the world. And to find them knocked my block off. I was like, what? Where have these guys been? How come we haven't ever come across these guys before? So, like yourself, I mean, I don't know where you're from. It looks like you're from, I don't know, actually, off the West Coast, Key West, so America somewhere, Florida. So I'm going to subscribe to you, buddy. And if you're going to go and get yourself a P1000, then wow, yeah, get that modification on the P900. You can be doing that sort of stuff over there, and I can be doing this sort of stuff over here. This is what we need to do, and networking, keeping in touch with each other. I'll now get notified of your videos, you'll get notified of mine, and we can start sharing information. Divided isn't great. We need to be working together for this. Key West, Florida, yeah. And Sandra as well. She's trying to get hold of a P1000 herself too. Yeah. Yeah. If anyone else is in, yeah, I would absolutely advise going give Tom a sub. It's a really fickle thing. If you go to someone's channel and you see that they've put some work out, and this is how genuine people are, we'll go to the channel, and let's suppose Tom had just started off and he only had 3 subscribers. It's unlikely anyone's going to subscribe to him. It's just the way it is. So let's push this guy. Let's keep appearing in the chats, Tom, talking about getting your P1000 and stuff. You need to promote yourself, get people subscribing to you. It will give you the confidence to then put videos out. People will like them, talk to you, encourage you to go out and do more work, and you'll grow your channel and you'll get better at what you do. And yet, if nobody subscribes to you, you'll feel disheartened. You won't really want to put stuff out. It's just the way. It's just the nature of the world. You've got to somehow promote yourself in some way. So this is great. Head over to this guy, Tom Budas, and yeah, there we go. Tom Budas. Go on, I'll put you as a mod, mate. I don't really know you, so I'm not too sure about adding you as a mod, but that's more for your protection more than anything. A Glober should be involved in the test. Okay, Danger Man. Yeah, I totally agree. I definitely agree. Danger Man, if you want to be the guy that comes along and be a part of the test, then yeah, come along. I'll even pick you up. If you're on the way, I'll pick you up. No hard feelings. And you can be our guy that is on the baller side, and you can make sure that it's all done how you would expect it to be done. Dwayne Levy Howard, yep, subscribed, yep. Oh, is Nathan in? I think so. Someone said Nathan was in. Let's see him. Yeah, he's our designated Glober for sure. So are you up for it, or are you going to crawl away and be one of these faceless trolls with just a D for a name? You did say that a Glober should be a part of it. Well, I'm offering you the opportunity to be part of it. You could be a part of science here, mate. The baller replying on the pinned comment on my last video never got back to me. I wonder why. It's surprising. I mean, I often see these no names. That's all they are. I mean, if you look at the trolls, look at Mark Taylor, for instance. It's just no offense to you, but it is like this kind of moniker. But on the other side of the coin, I know Newt's a real dude. So Mark Taylor's just a horrible troll. Yep. Hi, Nathan. Ballers are ballers. Yeah, they are. New the elf. That's quite funny. Oh, that's a levy. Wonder who that is. New the elf. Let me just see, just for the fun of it. Oh, well, that actually really surprises me. I'll be honest. I genuinely expected to click that and see that you had no subscribers, no videos, no playlist, nothing. I actually thought you was picking on poor little Arwen there, which would have been quite funny. So, when I saw the name, I thought, hey, oh, that's a nice troll name, but actually, you're a real person. So, right now, I have to ask, right? Now, I've never seen you before, New the Elf, right? And you've probably never heard of me, and you probably don't get the joke about this New the Elf. But I was talking before, and I was talking last night about the gaming community. Now, can you confirm or deny for me that you actually came to be in my discussions via Simon Dan's channel? Was it Simon Dan, the guy that you actually subscribed to, watched some videos to, and have actually ended up on this channel due to him? That's all I'm asking. Don't worry, and you're going to be safe in it. You're not going to get booted or anything. So, okay, there you go. Perfect. Did you hear what I said before, guys, when I was talking in Nathan's about the fact that YouTube seems to be promoting Simon Dan uh, in recommendations that gamers would appeal to? So if you're searching for, if you've got the gaming community, and then Simon Dan is popping up in their recommendations, is that how you actually came to know Simon Dan, New Elf? Was it a recommendation? Were you sort of like on YouTube looking at gaming videos, and he appeared in your recommendations to look at, and then you saw that he was quite well subscribed, you subscribed to him, and then you thought it'd be nice to come and troll flat earthers? I'm only asking, be honest. Right, no, I think it was watching flat earth videos. Right, okay, fair enough. Right, well, nobody boot this guy, nobody block him. He's answering the questions, which I appreciate. He's not being rude or anything. So that's all good. At least it's nice to actually speak to somebody and get an honest answer, because with the Globers, generally it's all really vile stuff, or really vile, or they never answer a question. So it's actually nice to get a Glober that comes in and is responding and answering questions, what appears to be quite nice. Good. Right. Well, whatever's happening with this Simon Dan, whether it's been, that the elites generally end up screwing everything up, right? So when they tried to pull off the 9/11 stuff, they screwed that up, and it eventually came out, and it's backfired on them. When they tried to intervene in the Gulf and the weapons of mass destruction and stuff like that, it backfired on them, right? So they're absolutely terrible at doing psyops, right? Terrible. So if Simon Dan is a psyop, and he's been put in place, or he has been nominated for the person they're going to nominate for their psyop, in a sense, get him a lot of subscribers, a lot of young, impressionable gamers who, let's face it, hate to lose any kind of argument, right? And they've also knowing that people like Timmy Osman, all the main protagonists in the Ball Earth community are all gamers. So they've obviously realized that going after these type of people, are they're the most likely group of people that will come to the globe's defense and stick around, because they don't like to lose. They're a gamer, so they don't like to lose an argument. They'll stick around, they'll troll, and then obviously they'll find their own little packs. But could they have shot themselves in the foot by doing this? Because if they've shot themselves in the foot by doing this, by exposing all these young people to flat Earth, if only a proportion of those, right? Only a proportion actually look at it logically, reasonably, forget what they've been taught and start with a fresh, open mind and look into the flat Earth, right? Then these are the guys that are more likely to go, do you know what? We have been lied to. Hell yeah. Right? Because any kind of promotion on flat Earth is good for flat Earth, whether it's promoting a baller or anything. Because there's always a percentage of those people, those inquisitive minds, those people with an open mind that can look at things critically and analyze it, that will realize we have been lied to, and it can only promote the growth. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing. Yeah? Think of it that way. Yes, in the short term, we'll probably get a lot of new faces turning up, a lot of new comments on my videos, a lot of thumbs down on my videos, right? There'll be a lot of thumbs down, a lot of bad comments, a lot of trolling. But once we get over that initial stage, most of these guys will probably drop off. Some will probably join the old Res Rhetorics, the Sean Huffords, the Mark Taylors, and will start trolling in the side chat, and they'll get off it because that's what they do. And then there'll be others that will join the flat Earth, and some of them will actually be content creators of their own. So they will go on to doing experiments like myself. So this could be a positive thing. Yeah. So you I never even thought about it like that. They're gamers, so they don't like losing. Yeah, exactly. It is. They don't. And Ranty, that is deep. Yes, it is. And it's something that I've noticed. It's like, it was the first thing that struck me was that they all have gaming in common. They are all gamers. All the Globe protagonists are gamers, essentially. And when you realize that they're now targeting gamers with Simon down, that isn't just a coincidence. Yeah. Right. Globebusters are talking about infrared imaging tonight. Are they really? Okay, perfect. Right. I wonder what time they start. I think it's about 8, isn't it? So will that be in 10 minutes? And also, they congregate together on here. They are not a cross-section of society, nothing like it. No, they're not. No, because the normal human beings don't act the way they do. Good global because he doesn't understand refraction. If you blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Knew the Elf. Listen, I'm not saying that all gamers are horrible people and will all turn into trolls and stalk the flat Earth. What I'm saying is that through experience with the actual globers that do hang around flat Earth, the majority that are globers and are gamers are the ones that are the most vile, vitriolic, horrible, nasty people that you could ever come across. That's what I'm saying, and that is just a fact. That isn't just pulled out of thin air. If you're new to the flat Earth, this is what you'll see. You know. Yeah, 10 minutes or so. Right, perfect. Indeed. Right. Well, in that case, New the Elf. I tell you what, there will be a new live stream happening very soon. It will be on Globebusters 2. So if you really, really want to see what the real guys, I mean, you know, I do my own stuff. Nathan does his own stuff, but Globebusters are right up there. You know, when they get the real channel back, which is on a strike at the moment from being reported by the Globers. Once they can live stream on that, they will be getting 2,500 viewers all the time. Me, I've got 36 watching now. Not very great. My reach isn't as good as theirs. So if you want to see some really good stuff, go over to Globebusters 2 in approximately 10 minutes. and see for yourself. And open, you don't have to say anything. Just listen in, listen to what they've got to say. If you don't like it, just go away. I mean, literally just go back to your gaming and don't even think twice about it. And do you know something? If I were you and I could turn back time, I really wouldn't have looked into the flat earth either, because I tell you what, it's a mind fuck. It really is. It really is a mind fuck. Because once you realize you've been lied to on this scale, your life is never the same. So you've got a choice. You're right in that point now. You can take the red pill or you can refuse the red pill. Depends how much you want to be messed around with in the head. Take your red pill, life will never be the same, or go back to your gaming and stay away from as far as flat earth as you can. It's up to you. Right, I'm going to round out, guys. Yeah, I think I'm going to just put that Patreon link in one last time. Save it, keep it, do whatever you want with it. If you want to Patreon and help to do these experiments and stuff, brilliant. If not, you'll still get the work and you'll still see the stuff, and I'll still be your best friends anyway. And peace, and that'll do for now. I'll probably see you over at Globebusters 2 in essentially 5 minutes. So take care, and I'll see you all guys very soon.